Hello, some of you may have already done this. Sticking a simple clipper lighter inside a 12 bore shotgun shell, as it's quite a good fit. And it's, just a fun way to customize your lighter if you like shooting sports or you like clay pigeon shooting or hunting or anything like that. That's a fairly common thing to do. Well, I came up with another idea kind of similar, and I've never actually seen this being done, although I'm sure there's probably a few others that's already done this. And that is to put your Opinel inside a shotgun shell and make it a neck knife. This is just an idea that I came up with just last night while I was just sort of messing around with my knives. I just sort of looked at the shotgun shells that I had sitting on the shelf that I picked up from a walk, and my Opinel was right beside it. And I sort of put two and two together, and this is what I came up with. It seems to work really well, and it's really easy. In fact, anyone could do this. All you need is a shotgun shell, some cord or some leather, and your Opinel. You don't even need this. This is just, I think this is some sort of barrel connector. I don't know what you would call it. It's for paracord anyway. You can get about 100 of these on Amazon for about £7. And this is just some leather thong that I bought off eBay quite a few years ago for similar projects, making bracelets and key rings and things like that. And like I said, the shotgun shell is one that I just picked up when I was out for a walk in the woods. Now, you could probably find shotgun shells all over Britain. Shooting with shotguns is incredibly common. Usually you'll find them on estates, shooting estates, forestry estates, because that's where they do the grouse shooting and the pheasant shooting. They just leave them on the ground. So I suppose by picking them up and doing this, I suppose you're doing your bit for the environment. Although I think the shells are meant to degrade. I'm not actually sure. I had noticed usually when I find shotgun shells, it's just the plastic. The metal is completely gone. It's just rusted away. But sometimes you will find some that's in not too bad a condition. This you could easily just polish up. In fact, this one was basically in the same condition, but I just spent 2 minutes using a microfiber cloth and some metal polish. All as I did was I tied a couple of overhand knots with this leather thong, attached this clip onto it, and there you go. You don't really need to do anything to the shotgun shell. I would make sure there's nothing living in there, it's not dirty. Sometimes you'll find like slugs or other little insects in there. And obviously make sure there's no powder in there. Now, I put the knife in the shell and used a lighter just to sort of shape it a little bit more to the knife to stop it falling out. I'm fairly confident if you wear this around your neck like this, it should be absolutely fine. I don't think that's likely to fall out at all, even if you're running, unless you're really trying. I mean, if you hold it by the end there and whirl it around, then yeah, the knife will fly out, but other than that, it'll be absolutely fine. So I think this is a fun little idea if you're a firearms enthusiast and you like knives. Coincidentally, the Opinel is a favourite by the hunters. A lot of people, when they go shooting, they'll take an Opinel. Now, I would imagine they usually take a number 7 or number 8, but this fits in a number 6. I had tried a number 7, which I think is a better size, but sadly, I suppose you could force it, but do you really want to do that? So it's not really suitable for a number 7. I guess you could probably find a bigger shell. I'm not really sure what's bigger than a 12 bore. Maybe a 10 bore. Although I don't think 10 bore shotgun shells are really all that common. I'm pretty sure 12 is the most common. That said, I'm just going to put that back in there. That said, I did also find a 20 bore, which interestingly enough is smaller than a 12 bore. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know as much about shotguns and shotgun shells as I would like to. But the 20 bore fits a number 5 quite nicely. And the number 5 is already UK legal. It doesn't have a lock. It's a reasonable size, fairly non-threatening. So there you go. Your number 5 fits really nicely into a 20 bore shotgun shell. Nothing to stop you doing it with this. Now, if you do decide you want to carry a number 6, I think a number 6 is better than a number 5 anyway. Plus you've got a nicer variety of woods. This is the Opinel. I've also got the oak. Plus you can get beech or birch or a bunch of exotic woods or horn, whatever you like really. If you want to carry this, but you are legally restricted, as we are here in the UK, you could just pop off the lock. You could do that with the bottle opener on a Victorinox Swiss Army knife. It only takes a couple of minutes to pop that off. Or alternatively, if you prefer that to stay on there because it looks way better, just super glue it like I've done with this number 7. So that's legal to carry. Cutting edge is less than 3 inches. So there you go, it's really just as simple as that. The only other thing I will say is, if you are going to do this, I personally would not have it on show. I don't think it would be a wise idea to have this around your neck, on top of your t-shirt, on top of your shirt, if you're walking around Asda. Number one, it's a shotgun shell. That's just going to offend someone because it's 2020 and anything sharper than a wooden spoon scares the shit out of people in this country, and people are overly sensitive to firearms and the likes, and the fact that you've got a shotgun shell with a knife stuffed into it is just going to upset so many people. So for me personally, I would probably rather have it under my shirt. That's up to you and depending on where you live. Final note, it is legal to own spent shotgun shells and spent rifle casings in Britain, just in case anyone wasn't sure about that. Like I said, you could find shotgun shells all over Britain. In fact, you can even find them on the beach. I've found numerous shotgun shells on the beach before. But usually you find them in the woodlands, on shooting estates, which is everywhere. Remember that in Scotland you've got the right to roam, so you can, if you can see it, you can walk on it. Obviously you're not allowed, you know, school grounds or things like that. You're not allowed on military property, that sort of thing. But any farm you can see, for the most part in Scotland, it is your right to roam, so long as you're not damaging the ground, so long as you're not walking through a field of crops, so long as you're not cutting down trees and setting fire to everything. You know, remember to follow the countryside code when you are in the Scottish countryside. But you know, just pick up a few shotgun shells and do this with it. You're recycling, you're doing a little bit for the planet, and it's a fun little project. It only took like 5 minutes, and there you go. I've now got a free neck sheath from my Opinel. I was going to buy a leather one in a similar configuration off Etsy, but that was going to cost about 20 quid plus like £10 shipping from whatever country it was from. This is just as good, and it's handmade. My own little project. I did have something else to say. It does fit some other knives, but I feel it's a bit dodgy with a Swiss Army knife. That the fit's not that great. I suppose you probably could fit some other traditionals. Now, alternatively, you could just, instead of having it here on the rim, you could just tie the same knot up here and have it hanging like this, and just glue it on. I'm sure that would be absolutely fine. Then you could have so many other knives in there instead. My original plan was to remove the primer and then to put the cord in and tie a knot. You could do that if you want. That said, I don't think you even need to drill it out, because I think these primers just pull out. So if I just push on that Opinel there, the primer's been pushed out, so I'm sure I could pull that out easily with a screwdriver or a pair of pliers. But to be honest, I'd rather that primer stays in there, because it just, I suppose, for lack of better wording, it kind of adds to the authenticity of the shotgun shell, if you like. Oops. Well, anyway, there you go. I just think that's a fun little idea. I'm probably the only person that could talk for nearly 9 minutes about this particular thing. Most other people would have done this in 2 minutes. I talk too much, I know, and I'm sure I'm going to get told off from the missus when I turn this video off. Anyway, have a good day, and, well, if you try this out or you've tried something like this, do let me know. I'll see you later.